Hi everyone, Ravi this side. Welcome to EnggAdda. So today in this video we are going to discuss about multi-match query in Elasticsearch and how we can convert that multi-match query in the form of DSL, which is domain specific language, and here the language that we are going to use is Java. So basically what we are going to do is we are going to write the multi-match query of the Elasticsearch, and then we are going to convert that multi-match query of Elasticsearch in the form of Spring Boot APIs. Okay, so there come the picture of DSL. That means we are converting that multi-match query in the form of domain specific language, which would be Java, and then finally we are converting that whole Java code in the form of a Spring Boot API. Okay, so let's get started for that. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe the channel, and there is a lot of videos on Elasticsearch and Spring Boot integration and how we can convert the Elasticsearch query in the form of Spring Boot APIs. I have covered a lot of video on that. I have covered the videos of a bool query, fuzzy query, I would say ngram query, match all query, everything I have covered in this channel. So make sure you watch those video. And here in this video, we are going to convert the multi-match query in the form of Spring Boot API. Okay, so let's get started for that. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start my Elasticsearch and Kibana up and running. So I have installed my Elasticsearch and Kibana using the Docker. So directly I will open my Docker desktop. There it is already having a container which is running the Elasticsearch and Kibana. So I will open up the Docker, make our Elasticsearch and Kibana up and running, and then we'll go to those Elasticsearch and Kibana dashboard, and then there will write the multi-match query. And once the multi-match query is working fine, we'll try to create a Spring Boot application and then convert that multi-match query in the form of a Spring Boot API. Okay, if you don't know how to install the Elasticsearch and Kibana or on the Windows machine using Docker, then there is a video on my channel, you can go and watch it out. So let's get started for that. So first of all, let me try to open the Docker here and just wait for a few seconds. So you can see my Docker is up, and here you can see I have the container for Elasticsearch and Kibana. Now I think they are up and running. If they are not up and running, I can come here and restart again. I can see that both of the containers for the Elasticsearch and Kibana is up and running. So what I will do, I will try to go to the Elasticsearch and Kibana dashboard. So here in the container itself, you can see we have configured like our Elasticsearch is up and running on the port number 9200 locally, and Kibana is up and running on the port number 5601 locally. So let me try to go to the browser and try to go to this dashboard first. So here go to the 9200 where the Elasticsearch is there, and here you can see our Elasticsearch is up and running. And if you'll go to the 5601 for Kibana, you will see the Kibana dashboard. So yeah, it is loading up. Wait for a few seconds, and here you can see this is the Kibana dashboard. If you'll come here to the menu icon, and if you'll click on this, if you'll go down to the management, and here you have to go to the dev tools. There it will open up a console where you can write your Elasticsearch query, and in the right side you will find the result for that. Okay, so there's a lot of video on my channel where I have discussed about the basic CRUD queries of the Elasticsearch, and others queries also I have discussed. So you can watch it out, and then it will be more familiar to you to work with the Kibana. Now let me try to go down, and so here we are going to write the queries. Okay, and in the right side we are going to see the result of that query. So first of all, we are going to write the query to create an index. Okay, if you don't know what is index, then index is a kind of table in Elasticsearch. So we are going to create a index here, and then inside that index we are going to insert a couple of documents, and then once those things are ready, we are going to write the multi-match query on that index, and then once the multi-match query is working fine, then we'll try to create a Spring Boot application and then convert that multi-match query in the form of a Spring Boot API. Okay, so first of all, let me try to tell you that what is multi-match query. Multi-match, as the name suggests, it is a search query, okay, or it is a match query. So if you can see in the name, it is multi-match. That means we are matching something or we are searching something. What is that something? Something is a text. So you want to search some text in the document or in the index of Elasticsearch. And what does multi means? We want to search that particular text in the multiple fields. Okay, so that comes the multi match. So let's say you have a word called ram and you want to search that word in the multiple fields of the Elasticsearch index, then there the multi-match query can help you. Okay, so this is what multi-match query is. When we are going to write the multi-match query, you will be more clear on that. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a index. Okay, so I'm just going to create an index called users, and in that index I'm going to insert the users details as a document, and then on that particular index we are going to write the multi-match query. Okay, so you can see here I have written one query which is a get query, and here is the index name, and then we want to perform a underscore search operation on that. If you'll run this query, you will find that this index is not existing as of now. You can see this index not found exception. So we don't have the index created here in the Elasticsearch. So what we'll do, we'll try to create that index and insert couple of document inside it. So either you can create the index separately and then insert the document, or what you can do is you can directly create the index by inserting a document inside that index. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to write a post query where I am just going to insert a document in the index. As of now, we don't have the index created, but when we are going to insert a document inside that index, it will create the index first and then insert that document. So let me try to write that query for you. So it is a post query. So post, let me try to come up, and you have to post, you have to insert something in the index called users. So users forward slash underscore document, and then you have to provide the document ID that you want to insert. So let's say the document ID I just want to insert is 101, and in the open and curly braces you have to provide the users details. Okay, so what this will do, this query will try to create a index users first, and inside that index it is going to create a document which ID is 101, and inside the document whatever fields or whatever JSON value you want to insert, you can provide it here in the open and curly braces in the body of the post. So let me try to provide those details here. So in the index users, what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert the users related informations. Okay, so let's say we have the user entity. Okay, and that user entity is containing the user related information like user ID, name, age, and description of the user. So those four fields I'm going to create here in the body and then try to insert that as a document in the index users. Okay, so let me try to do that. So let's say the first field is user ID, and let's say user ID is 101, and then we have the name of user. Let's say name is Ram, and let's say we have the age of user, and let's say the age is 26. And now let's say we have user description. Okay, so user description, and in the user description let's say we are going to write something about the user. So let's say Ram is a student of ECE. Okay, And yeah, so these four fields we have created and we have provided the details for that. And then now let me try to insert it out. So run this query and then see. Here you can see we have successfully created the index. You can see the index users is created and we have the document inserted inside that, and its ID is 101 and result is created. Now if you'll come here and run this query again, which is a get query, which was trying to find out the uh, index, trying to search on the index, but index was not existing, so we were getting the index not found exception. Now if you'll run it, you will find that this index is created, and inside the index in the hits you can see that we have this ID, this document ID, which is 101, is inserted here, which is containing the details of user RAM. Okay, so uh, using this post query, what we have did is we have created the users index and we have inserted one document inside that as well. Okay, so as of now, the index is created and we have one document inside that index. Now let me try to insert couple of more document inside that index. So let's say the document ID is 102, and let's say the user ID is also 102, and now the name of user is Syam, and let's say Syam is from CS and brother of Ram. Okay, so in the description what we are providing is Syam is a student of CSC and brother of Ram. Now insert it out, and it is inserted. Again, let me try to insert couple of more documents inside the users index. So let's say document ID 103, user ID is 103, and let's say this time the user name is Rahul. Okay, and Rahul is from mechanical, so ME, and it is a friend of Ram. Okay, now insert it, and it is also inserted. So as of now, what we have did is we have created the index users and inserted couple of document inside it. If we'll run this query, you will find that users inside the user index, inside the hits, you will find that we have inserted three documents. Document ID 101, which is containing the information related to the RAM. 102, information related to Syam, and 103, information related to Rahul. And let me try to show you something here in the uh, in the document 101. You can see we have the name is Ram, and in the user description also we have the uh, name Ram. Okay, similarly in the uh, document 102 we have the name as Syam, and the user description this term Syam is also coming here. Similarly, Rahul is there, and the term Rahul is also coming here in the description. But you can see across the whole documents, one common word is there, which is Ram. Okay, you can see here the Ram is also there in document 103, similarly document 102 and document 101. So if you want to search this keyword RAM in the whole index across all the documents, across multiple fields. So you can see these are the fields: user ID, name, age, and user description. So you want to search this particular key across the multiple fields, then there's comes the picture of multi-match. Okay, you want to match a particular text across multiple fields. So multi-match query will help you there. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to write the multi-match query, and in the multi-match query we want to search this term called RAM, and we want to search that term across two fields, which is name and the user description, and we'll see how many documents we are finding out. Okay, so ideally it should return this three document because the RAM is inside all of the three documents, so we'll see that. Okay, so now we have created the index, we have inserted couple of documents inside it. Now we are going to write the multi-match query here. Okay, so get, and you want to write the query on the index users. Okay, and now let's see, you want to do a search, and if will come down here, you have to write the multi-match query. So first of all, we have to provide the query, and which query you want to do, you want to write the multi-match query. So just select the multi-match query, and here you can see in the multi-match query we have these two fields, which is query and the fields. Query is a single term. That means in the query you have to provide the particular text or particular field, uh, uh, what I would say, particular key that you want to search. And in the fields, you can see the field is a array. That means it can contains more than one values. And in the fields, what you have to provide, you have to provide where you want to search that particular key, in which fields you want to search that particular key. So the field value you have to provide here. Okay, so let's say we want to search the key called ram, and in which field you want to search, you want to search it in the name field and in the user description field. Okay, and if you run it out, you can find that ram is there across all the documents. So here in the result you will find that total it is 3. And if you come down, you will find in the hits we have the document 101, and inside that also we have the term called ram in the name field and the user description field. If you'll come down, you will find that document 102, and inside document 102 this term ram is there in the user description field. Here you can see. Similarly, if you'll come down, this term ram is there in the user description of document 103 as well. Okay, so this is how the multi-match query is working, and what I am going to do is I'm just going to create a Spring Boot application and then convert this multi-match query in the form of DSL, or you can say Spring Boot APIs. Okay, so if it is clear to you, please hit a like button, and please subscribe the channel, and also share these videos with your friends. Okay, now let me try to also show you, if you are going to do a multi-match query on the term called Sam, what the result you are going to get. Okay, or let's say Rahul, so what all the result you are going to get there. So let's say you want to search the Rahul key in the fields called name and user description. Okay, let me try to do that. Here you see that in the hits you have only one hit, and in the document you can see the document ID 103, which is containing the key Rahul, which is having the Rahul is there in the name field, and Rahul is also there in the user description field. Okay, so this is how you can write the multi-match query. Now coming to the next part, where we are going to develop a Spring Boot application and convert this query in the form of DSL. Okay, or Spring Boot API. So come here to the IntelliJ, and before going to develop this application, let me try to tell you that I'm using the IntelliJ Ultimate version. So directly from the IntelliJ itself, I'm going to create the Spring Boot application. If you are not using IntelliJ Ultimate version, what you can do is you can go to the Spring Starter IO, and there itself you can create your Spring Boot application and download it, unzip it, and open up in the whatever ID you are comfortable in. Okay, so let me try to go to the file, new project, and just wait for a few seconds. Here you can see Spring Initializers there. The same page will open up in the website when you'll go there, start.spring.io. Okay, now here let me try to change the folder. We are in November now. Okay, and here you have to provide the name of the application that you want to develop. So let's say it is multi-match query DSL. Okay, select the Maven here, and go next. Now you have to select couple of starter dependency like Lombok, and this is the web application, so Spring Web, and you are using the Elasticsearch, so you have to include the Elasticsearch, Spring Data Elasticsearch as well. So these three starter dependency you need to include in your application. Now create your application and open up in the new tab, Let me try to close the previous one, and let me try to open up the tab here. Load this Maven project, and yeah, wait for a few seconds. Once it will start downloading all the dependencies, and once all things are resolved, what you can do is you can start your development. Let me try to maximize it out, minimize this things a bit. So go to the source main and in Java, and here you can see our application is created successfully and everything is configured, or it downloaded the starter dependencies as well. Okay, so everything look good. Now let me try to tell you the flow that we are going to follow here in the development of the Spring Boot application. So first of all, let me try to go there to the Elasticsearch Kibana dashboard here. So here you can see when we are trying to run this multi-match query, what we are getting here in the response is this whole value, okay, which is having the hits, and inside the hits we have the document that we were searching for. Okay, so what we are expecting out of this API that we are going to develop, we are not expecting the whole thing to return, right? We are expecting only the documents where our key is present. We are returning the documents where our key is present, that the key we are searching for. Okay, so in the response of the API that we are going to develop, we are just returning this uh, user entity, I would say. Okay, not the whole thing. So for that, what we are going to do is we are going to create a user entity in the Spring Boot application, and then what we are going to do is we are going to create a class like Elasticsearch util class, where we'll try to write down the methods that will convert our Elasticsearch query, which is matchal query, in the form of Java methods. Okay, these queries we are going to convert in the form of Java methods. For that, we are going to write a class called Elasticsearch util. Okay, and then we have the Elasticsearch service class, which is calling the search method of the Elasticsearch. And then inside the search method of the Elasticsearch, we'll pass those query methods, and then we'll finally call that Elasticsearch service method in the controller layer, where we'll develop the application API. And out of this API, we are expecting the documents which is containing that particular field which we are searching. Okay, so this is the whole flow, and yeah, let me try to start doing the development. So come here, right click on it, and try to create a entity which is user entity, I would say. So entity package, and let's say we are going to create the class called users, and here we have to add the attributes that the user is containing. So if you want to see, come here to the Kibana, and here you can see we have this four attributes, which is user ID, which is of integer type. Again, the name is a string, age is integer, and user description is a string. So either you can copy these four fields here, come here to the IntelliJ and paste it out. Okay, sorry. Let me try to write it down for you. So private integer user ID, and we have private string name, and then we have private integer age, and then we have private string user description. Let me try to match the fields here. So it is user desk. Okay, so we are good now. Now I'm using Lombok. So with the help of Lombok, I'm just directly going to create the all argument constructor and no argument constructor and getter and setter using data. And then we have to provide the uh, we also have to provide the documents here. Okay, So in the document, we have to provide the index that we have created in the Elasticsearch. So just use this document annotation here. Document, how we provide the table's name, that the same way you have to provide the index name here in the document. So here it is index name, and in the index name you have to provide the index that you have created in the Elasticsearch. So come here to the Kibana, and here you can see this is the index that we have created. So copy this index, again come here to the IntelliJ, paste it out. Okay, let me try to paste it out. It is users, and yeah, we are good. Now let me try why we are getting this. Yeah, let me try to put the semicolon here. Okay, so we are good now. Now everything look good to me. We have created the entity. Now the time to create the Elasticsearch util class, where we'll try to convert our Elasticsearch query in the form of Java methods. So for that, let me try to come here, and let's say it is util package, and then inside that we have the es util class. Okay, add it out, and let me try to uh, write the methods which will convert the what I would say Elasticsearch query in the form of Java methods. Okay, so first of all, what we are going to write is we are going to write a multi-match query. Okay, and then we are going to call that multi-match query method inside the supplier query method, and that supplier query method will be called inside the Elasticsearch search method. So if you are confused, just don't be confused. I will try to develop those things, and then you will be more clear on that. So let me try to do that first. Okay, so just come here, and let me try to create the method for the matchal query. So public, let's say static multi-match. Sometimes I'm calling the matchal query. Just pardon me. It is multi-match. Okay, so multi-match query, and multi-match query. So here in the multi-match query method that we are writing here, we have to pass uh, the key that you want to search and the fields in which you want to search that key. So you have to pass those two as an argument here. So let's say we want to search the key which is a type of a string, and let's say it is what I would say the key. Okay, and then where you want to search that key in, the fields you have to provide, right? So let's say it is a list of a string. We are taking a fields as a list of a string because it is not a single field. It is a multiple fields where you want to search that key in. So that is why I'm just taking this fields as a list of a string. So just use fields here. Let me try to import the list here, and yeah, we are good. Now come here inside it, and before going to write it out, let me try to again show you how the multi-match query is looking like, the structure of the multi-match query. If you'll see this, then it will be more clear to you. Maximize this one, and here it is, right? So here you can see in the query we have a multi-match query, and in the multi-match query we have the query and the fields. So in the query we are providing the key that we want to search, and in the fields we are providing the fields value where you want to search that key in. Okay, so that is why we are passing this key as a argument, and this fields as a second argument in the multi-match method. Okay, so it is clear now. Now let me try to create the multi-match query here. So let's say value, import this out, multi-match, new multi-match query dot builder. Okay, And in the multi-match, what we are doing, we are just creating a query, and in the query we have to pass the key and the fields. Okay, so in the query, let's say we have the key, and then we have to pass the fields, and in the field we have to pass the fields that we are passing here in the argument. Okay, that's all. And finally you have to build it out, right? And then simply return this query out of this method. So you can see what we have did here is we have created this method which is multi-match query. Its return type is a multi-match query. Okay, and in this method we are passing the key and the fields as an argument, and then we are creating a multi-match query here. uh, like we are creating one variable which is of multi-match. Its name is multi-match, and it is a multi-match query here. Inside that variable, what we are doing, we are passing the key in the query and fields in the field, and then building it out and then returning it. So here it is constructing the same query that we are running here in the Kibana dashboard. We have created this variable multi-match. Inside that we are passing the key in the query and fields in the field. As simple as that. So this is what we are doing. Now what we have to do is we have to convert this multi-match query in the form of query. So that is why we are creating a second method, which is a supplier method, where we are going to call this multi-match query. Okay, so let me try to create that method as well. So it is public static, and let's say its return type is supplier, and let me try to remove this supplier, yeah. And what it is supplying, it is supplying the query. Make sure this query is coming from the query DSL. Okay, now let's say its name is something like supplier query for the multi-match query, something like that. Supplier query for multi-match query. I'm just taking the weird name to make it very much clear for you. Okay, so here again we have to pass these two fields, key and the fields. Copy these things and come here, paste it out as an argument, and then inside this we have to create a supplier query. So how we have created the multi-match query, similar way we have to create the supplier query. Inside the supplier query, we have to pass this multi-match query. Okay, so let me try to create that supplier query, and let's say its name is supplier. Now with the help of Java 8 we can directly call the query here, and in the query we can pass the multi-match query. So query of, and then what we have to do, we have to call the multi-match query method inside it. Okay, so just multi-match, and then we have to call this method which is multi-match query. Copy this, paste it out, and inside that we have to pass this key and the fields. Okay, and yeah, return the supplier from this method. So again, let me try to summarize these things. So what we are doing in the first method, which is multi-match query, we are writing that multi-match query, and if we'll come here to the Kibana, you can see this multi-match query is contained inside a query. So the same query we are uh, creating here in the method called supplier query for multi-match query. So we are wrapping out this multi-match query inside this query, and then returning this from this method. Okay, so this is what we are doing here. Now we have created this query methods. Now what we have to do is we have to create the uh, Elasticsearch service class where we have to call the Elasticsearch search method, and inside that search method we have to pass these queries. Okay, or you can say we have to pass these methods. So let me try to create those things as well. So come here to the new and Java, let's say service and ES service. Annotate this class with @service annotation so that its pin can be created and assigned to the application context. So service. Now what we are going to do, we are going to create a method which is returning the search response of users, or you can say search response of the users document. Okay, so let me try to create those things here. Okay, so first of all what we are going to do is we are going to call the Elasticsearch search query or Elasticsearch search method. So for that we need to auto-var the Elasticsearch client here. So auto-var private Elasticsearch client. Okay, let me try to import this auto-var. Okay, so with the help of this Elasticsearch client only we can call the Elasticsearch search method, and inside that method we have to pass the method that we have created inside this Elasticsearch util class. Okay, so come here to this and we are good. Now let me try to create one method. Inside that method we are going to call the search method of the Elasticsearch, and then inside that we are going to pass the utils method. Okay, so let me try to create that. So the return type of that method would be search response, and in the search response we want to fetch the users. Okay, the entity that we have created, which is containing all the fields, right? Or you can say the user document. Now let's say it is method name is multimatch. Yes, again we have to pass the key and the fields. List of string. Let me try to import the list here and come down. Now first of all what I'm going to do is I'm just going to call this supplier method. Okay, so for that first of all I'm just going to create a supplier variable here. So its return type would be supplier query. Import the supplier here. Let's say the variable name is supplier, and with the help of ESUtil class we can directly call the static methods, right? So first the method that I'm going to call here is supplier query for multimatch query, and inside that we need to pass the key and the fields. Okay, so here what we are doing is we are going to this supplier method. In the supplier method we are calling this multi match query, and in the multi match query we have the multi match query. Okay, so how it is working is we have created this supplier method, and inside this Elasticsearch service method we are calling that supplier method, and this supplier variable is containing that result of the supplier method, and then this supplier variable which is a kind of supplier query, we have to pass it inside the search method of the Elasticsearch. And how we are going to call that search method? Using this Elasticsearch client. So come here downside and use this Elasticsearch client and then call the search method of Elasticsearch and pass the supplier here. Okay, so apart from the supplier, what you have to pass, you have to pass the index as well where you want to do the searching. Okay, so those things also you have to pass, and its return type would be search response, which is also the return type of the method here. So copy this and create a variable of this search response type. Let's say search response. Okay, we are calling the search method. Let me try to put it down here. Okay, we are calling the search method. Inside the search method, we have to pass the index and we have to pass the supplier query. So just let me try to pass the index here. Dot index, and the index that we have created was users, and then you have to pass the query, and in the query you have to pass the uh, supplier query whichever we have called from the sub Elasticsearch util class. Okay, which was supplier query for the multi-match query. So just let me try to call that supplier dot get. Okay, yes, and finally we also have to provide the return type, which was the search response. So here what we are expecting, we are expecting the users entity as the return type. So users dot class. Okay, I think that's all. Now here what we have to do, we have to return this response variable, which is a search response type. So before doing the return, let me try to print something here. Let me try to print the query. Okay, so okay, what I can do is I can print the query here. So let's say it is ES query, and from where we can expect the query, it is supplier is containing that query supplier dot get the toString and simply return the Elasticsearch response variable from here. Okay, here why we are getting the error. Let me try to see. Okay, so it is asking you to add the exception at the method signature. So do it. It is IO exception. So again, let me try to summarize the whole thing. So here in the Elasticsearch service class, we have created one multi-match method, which is return type is search response of the users. This is what we are expecting. In this method, we are passing this key and the fields, and inside that method, we are calling the supplier query for multi-match query. Okay, and we are getting the query supplier query here. With the help of the supplier query, we are passing the supplier query in the Elasticsearch search method. Okay, and then we are finding out the search response, and that search response we are printing. Sorry, that search response we are returning from this method. Okay, so this is the whole flow is. Now come here to the controller. So create one controller class here. So let's say it is users controller. Okay, put it in the package called controller and add this. Now annotate this class with @rest controller, and if you want to annotate the request mapping also, you can do that for the class level mapping. So let me try to provide the class level mapping as the APIs or API, something like that. Come here inside the user controller class and create one API here. So let's say it is a get API that I'm going to create, and let's say it is multi-match. Now what we have to pass here is we want to pass the key that you want to search, and we also want to pass the fields in which you want to search that particular key in. So all those things we want to pass here as a path variable or the request parameter. So either yeah, let me try to tell you, there is a two scenario. Either you can create a get mapping here, or you can create a post mapping. So when you are creating the get mapping, you have to pass or you have to provide the key and the fields either as a path variable or path variable and request parameter. And when we are using the post mapping, you can pass the key as a path variable and the fields you can pass as a request body. So both of the scenario can be done, but as of now I'm just going to use the get mapping here. So here we are using the get mapping. So let me try to develop one get API. So you can see we are developing the get API, and its mapping is multi-match, and then we are passing the key as a path variable and the fields as a request parameters. Okay, so let me try to pass the key here as a path variable. Okay, now what we are expecting out of this API, we are expecting out the list of users document where the key is found. Okay, so when we are going to search for the particular key in a index in the documents in the particular fields, then wherever the key is being matched, we are extracting out those whole documents and then returning here as the API response. So let me try to write down the method here. So let's say the method is public, and we are expecting the list of user document where the key is found. Okay, so user, let me try to import the, so it is not users, it is users. Okay, it is not user, it is users. So let me try to remove this import of the user. So the method return type is list of users, and let's say multi match. Now we are passing the key as a path variable, and others parameter we need to pass as a request param. So let me try to create a request param here. Okay, so in the request param, what we are passing is we are passing the fields. Okay, so if you'll come here to the Kibana, you can see in the fields we are passing only two fields where a name, or you can see two attributes. So in the fields we are passing the name and the user description. These are the two fields where we are searching for the key Rahul. Okay, so we are just going to pass the same fields as a request parameter in the API. So come here. So let's say the value is name, and so yeah, let's say the value is field 1, and its default value is name. And let me try to create the variable here, which is string field 1, and the second uh, field that we are passing is user description, right? So request parameters value is field 2, and let me try to put it down so that it will be more clear to you. Now let me try to put the default value. I will explain you everything if you are confused here. So default value is user description, and let's say it is string field 2. Let me try to explain you here. So just put the things down. Now what we are doing here is we have created this multi-match method, which is returning the list of users where the key is found. We are passing the key as a path variable, and we are passing these two fields where we are searching the key as a request parameters. Okay, so here you can see we have made these two request parameters, the field 1 and field 2, and the default value is name and the user description. If you are not providing the field 1 and field 2 value as a name and user description, it will automatically pick up these two as a default value. Okay, now we are forgetting this path variable, so let me try to add the path variable here, and it is string key. Okay, that's all. Now we have this signature ready for this API. Now inside the API we have to do the real implementation. Okay, so we are expecting the list of users, right? So how we are going to do that? So first of all, if you remember that we have created the user service method, which was returning the list of search response of the users, right? So same method we need to call inside this API and then filter out or try to find out the hit out of that search response and then return it. Okay, so same thing we have to do here. Don't be confused. Let me try to do the implementation and then explain you those things here. So yeah, we have the what we are expecting is first of all search response. Let me try to call the method of the Elasticsearch service class. So its return type is search response of users, and let's say search response. Now we need to auto var this Elasticsearch service class reference so that we can call the method inside it. So auto var it private Elasticsearch service, and with the help of that we are just going to call the method which is multi-match, and then we need to pass the key and the fields. Okay, so remember that we are passing the fields as a list of string, right? So again, let me try to create a list of strings here. Let's say its name is field and it is array list. Import this array list, and in the fields we are just going to add the field 1 and field 2, and then we'll pass this list here in the multi-match method of the Elasticsearch service. So fields dot add field 1, fields dot add field 2. Now pass this list which name is fields. Okay, good. Now what we are expecting out of it? We want to find out the hit out of this search response, right? So that we need to do. So just okay, we need to throw the exception, I think. Yes. So we call this method. We have the response of this method in the search response variable. Now come here to the search response, try to find out the hits out of hits, and then what you need to do, then you have to extract it out one by one, right? So let me try to do that. Okay, so the return type of this search response hits of it is list of hit of users. Okay, so list of hit of users, and let's say list of users. Let me try to import this hit. Okay, now see, the search response variable is containing the response from the multi-match method of the Elasticsearch service. this search response is containing everything that we are getting here in the response when we are running this query. Everything, right? And we don't need everything. We need this document. And this document is inside the hits. And inside that hits, we have again one hit. And inside that hit, second hit, we have the document, right? So that is why we are calling the hit of hit, and then inside that hit of hit we have that document. Okay, so this hit of hit is returning the list of hitted users, and that is what we have created the variable here, list of users. Now from this list of sorry, it would be list of hits, right, not list of users. Now out of this list of hits, what we are going to do is we are going to find out list of users, right? So let me try to create a, what I would say, list of users. Let's say list of users is equal to new array list, and inside that what we'll do, we'll try to put the list of users, hitted users, which is there in the list of hits. So one by one, we'll try to iterate this list of hits, find out the users, and then add it to the list of users. Okay, so just come here, hit users, and let's say hit from list of hits. Come here, list of users dot add hit, and from the hit you have to find out the source. Inside the source only we have the list of user. Again, you can confirm it from the response. Here you can see inside the hits, inside the source, we have this user document. So that is why we are calling the source here. Okay, everything look good to me. Now simply what you can do is you can come here and return the list of user. Okay, so this is how the API is developed, and now let me try to summarize the whole thing so that it will be more clear to you. So first of all, we have developed this API. We are passing the key that we want to search in the Elasticsearch, and we are passing this key as a path variable, and we are passing the fields where we want to search that key in as a request parameter. We are creating one list of a string. Its name is fields, where we are putting those two fields. We are passing this list of string fields to the multimatch method of the Elasticsearch. If you'll come here inside it, you will find that we are calling the supplier query. If you come here inside the supplier query, you can see this, we are calling the multimatch query, and the multimatch query is the multimatch query of the Elasticsearch. So this is the flow. Now when we get the result out of this multimatch method of the Elasticsearch, we are getting the whole response, but we want to filter out the list of heated users. So that is why we are iterating out of the hits and then finding out the list of documents, user documents, and then putting it in the list of users and then returning it. So this is the simple thing. Now let me try to run this application and try to hit this API to see how it is behaving. If everything look good, then we are like good. The API is working successfully. Otherwise, we'll see if we are getting some errors or what. So just be ready for that. And here you can see our application is up on the port number 8080, and I think we are good. Come here to the postman and try to hit the API. So come again to the controller class and then see. So here you can see the class level mapping is API, and then we have the multi-match, and then we have to pass the key. So copy this multi-match, come here to the postman. The class level mapping is API, we have to pass this multi-match, and then we have to pass the query, term that we want to search. Let's say we want to search the RAM, and you can see this is the base HTTP localhost 8080. So locally our application is up on the port number 8080 and the protocol is HTTP. Then the class level mapping is API, the method level mapping is match, multi-match, and then we are passing the key as a path variable. Now in the request parameter we need to pass the field 1 and field 2. So field 1, let me come again here and then see, it is field 1 and field 2. In the field 1 we are passing the name. In field 2 we have to pass the user description. These are the fields where you want to search this key in. Okay, so user description. Now hit this and then see. Here we go. We are getting the results, right? You can see this key RAM is there in the all documents. The document 101, document 102, and document 103. You can see, right? RAM is here in the document 101 in the name and the user description. Same, the RAM is there in the document 102 in the user description. Here you can see. And same for the document 103. The RAM is there in the user description. If you'll search for the, let's say, term Rahul, it will give you only the document 103 because Rahul is there in the 103 itself in the name and the user description. So the API is working fine, and this is how you can convert your, what I would say, match, multi-match Elasticsearch query in the form of Java domain specific language, or you can say in the form of Spring Boot APIs. Okay, so if you like the video, please hit the like button, and if you find this video what I would say helping, then please comment down and please share this video to your friend in need. Thanks, and welcome to the channel again.